Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Keelgottime, and today, because Keel's got some time, we're finna be reacting to kings who ruled less than a day. You finally come into all that wealth, all that status, all that. Bro, you got anything? King? Only for less than 24 hours later, you kicked off the throne. The biggest of rug sweeps. But anyway, let's get straight to it.
Kings who ruled for less than a day. Welcome to the reign of Louis the 19th. The kind of reign you could miss just by stepping away to make a cup of coffee. Louis the 19th, born Louis Antoine de Bourbon in 1775, was the son of Charles X. Charles X was the younger brother of King Louis XVI and Louis XVIII. Little Louis grew up in a time when the throne of France was basically a cursed chair in a horror movie. Sit on it and something terrible was bound to happen. His family had a rather unfortunate tradition, ascending the throne during chaos and losing it in even worse chaos. In 1789, when Louis was just 14, the French Revolution exploded. He and his family were forced to flee the country, hoping to avoid the same fate as his uncle, King Louis XVI, who famously lost his head in 1793. The family went into exile, drifting across various European countries. And Louis's royal life mostly consisted of running and homesickness. In 1815, after Napoleon was defeated, Louis XVIII, the uncle of Louis, reclaimed the throne. When he died, Louis's father, Charles X, ascended in 1824. Louis Antoine officially became the heir to the throne, bearing the title Duke of Angoulême, and was hailed as the next great hope of the Bourbon Restoration. But under Charles X, the Bourbons kept doing what they did best, being completely out of touch with reality. The king tried to revive the rigid, ultra-conservative ideals of the old absolute monarchy at a time when liberalism was sweeping across Europe. Things came to a boiling point in the 18th of July 30 when Charles X issued the July Ordonnances de Juillet. These decrees dissolved Parliament, censored the press, and rewrote the electoral laws to boost royal control. The public's reaction? Outrage! The July Revolution broke out. Paris was in flames. The army fell apart. The people built barricades. The king panicked. On the 2nd of August, Charles X...
I can't lie. I know I just missed, probably some vital information. Let me know if I missed some vital shit. But, France seemed like they be going through it all the time. Bro, all the time, French just seem like they be going through it. And I can't lie, France isn't even that nice of a place to be. It's not. It's really not. Everyone wants to go to Paris, see the Eiffel Tower, city of love. I promise you, it's just a city of homelessness and burglary. that's what it's a city of. But I remember, I've been to France once. We did go up the Eiffel Tower, actually. I remember calling my cousin, Sophie. If you're watching this, I know she's not watching this. She don't care. But I called my cousin Sophie from the top of the Eiffel Tower. I was like, guess where I'm calling you from? She's like, where? I was like, from the top of the Eiffel Tower, G. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. But yeah, other than that though, being in France, it wasn't no pleasant experience, really. It was not that great.
Was forced to abdicate, handing over the throne to his son, Louis Antoine. And just like that, Louis Antoine became Louis the 19th, King of France. No coronation, no loyal army, no cheering crowds tossing flowers, just a small room in Rambouillet Castle, a piece of paper, and a nod from his defeated father. I'm not ready to be king. I don't even know the first thing about ruling. Son? And then he abdicated. Not because he was afraid, but because he understood the French didn't like him. The French didn't like his father. And honestly, the French weren't all that into kings anymore. No one believed in the Bourbon dynasty. Staying would have only made things worse. Son, He agreed with his father's decision to pass the crown to his 10-year-old nephew, Henri, Count of Chambord. Of course, the boy never actually became king. People say Louis the 19th reigned for about 20 minutes.
Bro.
Others say...
I was about to say, fam. How you... Bro, what? 2 grown-ass men pussied out, and they was finna put the responsibility on a 10-year-old. The responsibility of a whole country on a 10-year-old just because they pussied out, bro. What type of...
It was just a few.
Nonsense.
In truth, he was king only on paper, never officially ruled, not even for a single day. A reign that ended before the court historian had time to dip the pen in ink. Honestly, I should have just stayed home today. After personally tossing the crown into the trash, Louis XIX left France with his wife and family, living in exile. He settled in Scotland, then Austria, and finally, Italy. The rest of his life was quiet. No children, no power, no one called him king, except for a handful of loyalists who still insisted he was the rightful monarch. He died in 1844, quietly, remembered not for what he accomplished, but for never having the chance to accomplish anything at all. Even today...
I can't lie. That's probably what I would have done still. Like, if I was him and I was gonna pussy out, like, let's just say I was gonna pussy out because of whatever reasons. If I'm gonna pussy out, I would do the same. I'd just dip. I wouldn't even stay in the country. I'd just take my wife and kids. Yo, we out of here. Let's just live a frugal life somewhere, chilling.
The question, should Louis XIX be recognized as a real king, is still debated. Some records list his name, others skip over him entirely. Most modern French people have never even heard of him. Hein? Jamais entendu ce nom. In the 12th century, the pagan kingdom, located in present-day Myanmar, was a regional powerhouse, renowned for its dazzling temples and shimmering golden pagodas. Min Shin Sa was the eldest son of King Along Sithu and had been officially designated as the heir to the throne of the pagan dynasty.
Okay, Min Shin.
He was a bright, well-educated, morally upright crown prince, but also...
the pagan dynasty. Huh? You a city full of ops. Like, pagan to who? Remember that song? Them boy pagan, you can't stand.
Hot-tempered as fire, he was so blunt and outspoken that he ended up offending not only the court, but even his own father. The final straw? He criticized the king's governance and spoke out against the royal step queens, which, as any palace expert will tell you, is basically a national-level taboo. The result? He was banished by his father from the royal capital and sent to live in a remote, far-off region where he seemed destined to become just another forgotten footnote in history. But no! He ended up having a surprisingly successful exile. Min Shin Sa dammed the Ongpinle Lake and another nearby lake. He built 3 irrigation canals, creating new farmland. Thanks to the fertile soil, 3 harvests a year were possible. His enlightened agricultural policies filled his treasury and attracted many loyal followers. By the gods, my lord! Are all exiled princes this handsome? Or is it just you? Despite his success in exile, Min Shin Sa remained loyal to his father. However, in pagan, King Along Sithu had chosen Narathu, Min Shin Sa's younger brother, as heir to the throne. In 1167, Along Sithu fell ill and was assassinated by Narathu, who could not wait to be king. Min Shin Sa did not know about Narathu's treachery and came back to Pagan to claim the throne. Narathu met him at the port and proclaimed his elder brother the new king. Min Shin Sa was at once consecrated king. But later that night, Narathu poisoned Min Shin Sa and claimed the throne for himself. In total, poor Min Shin Sa reigned for only a few hours.
Oh, Min Shin. Min Shin, bruh. Was that his karma for running his mouth? Or was that his karma? Min Shin, my boy. Tough times, bro. And that was like, that'd be a dead ass real thing too. With like rich people and stuff, they'd be wanting to like secretly off whoever's, you know, head honcho, whoever holds the will. scary times, man. Scary times. I'm saying if I ever get like super rich, just trust nothing will be in my name. So if you kill me, you ain't getting shit, bro. If you kill me, you're not getting shit, bro. Ain't nothing finna be in my name. Nothing.
Before we talk about Wanyan Qinglan, let's set the scene. The Jin dynasty, founded by the Jurchen people in 1115, was once a powerful empire in the north. It had defeated the Song dynasty and taken control of half of China. But by the 13th century, the thundering hooves of Genghis Khan and his descendants swept across the steppes, crashing down on the central plains like a rising tide. The Jin, already weakened by years of civil war and territorial losses, were pushed into a corner. And that's when the final emperor stepped onto the stage, Emperor Mo of Jin. Born in 1202, his real name was Wanyan Qinglan.
Alright, I seen a point the other day. Not a point, like a quote that apparently Genghis Khan said. And it made me think of something, you know. The quote was something along the lines of, if you had not committed such awful sins, God would have never put such a punishment like me in front of you. That obviously being Genghis Khan, you finna get obliterated, bro. So I'm like, did God actually, because we all know Genghis Khan killing people, obviously wrong. But did God actually put them there because people of that time were committing such atrocities that he was like, nah, y'all gotta go. But he didn't want to do it in another like natural disaster, like flood the world type of way. Because, you know, he said he ain't never gonna flood the world again. He said that. So do you think he put people like throughout time, like Genghis Khan or leader of the Romans or some shit, just to, you know, hone in on some of the sinning that y'all been doing? I think maybe, you know, I think maybe Genghis Khan, he knew he was probably put there just to clean shit up. Clean up crew, dust collector. He knew. I don't know, interesting point though.
A man who rose through the ranks as a military general. In early 1234, Emperor Aizong of Jin was still the official ruler of the dynasty, holding out in Kaizhou, the last remaining city under Jin control. With the Mongol army besieging the city from all sides, Emperor Aizong sensed the end was near, but he didn't want to go down in history as the last emperor of the Jin dynasty. So, he announced his decision to abdicate and pass the throne to Wanyan Qinglan. Wanyan Qinglan refused, but Aizong insisted, saying, "I am fat and unable to ride on horseback into battle. If the city falls, I will not be able to escape. You, on the other hand, are fit and strong. You are also a skilled military leader. If you manage to break out, you can preserve the dynasty and rebuild it someday. That is my final wish." Reluctantly, Wanyan Qinglan accepted. On the 9th of February, 1234, he ascended the throne in the most desperate of circumstances. And on that same day, just hours later, the Mongols broke through the city walls. Wanyan Qinglan donned his armor, took up his weapons, and led his troops into battle. He didn't flee like his predecessor, and then he was killed in action on the very day of his coronation. If you're wondering what happened to his predecessor, Emperor Aizong fled into the Yulin room and committed suicide by hanging himself.
Bruh.
Historians refer to him as Emperor Mo, literally last emperor of the...
I don't get, like... Okay. Now, he probably had, like, pride behind it, which is probably why he decided to off himself. But, dude, you can't just run away. Like, there ain't there's no security cameras, no nothing. You were emperor of something, of the emperor of the Jin dynasty, bro. Take a couple gold pieces, pack a bag, and dip out like a thief in the night, bro. I don't get what did, like, you didn't have to do that, my guy. You know? Bruh, but imagine being crowned and then only hours later your country or your city or whatever is getting invaded. Only hours later. Like, that is literally, okay, let's put you to the test. Let's real see them? Damn. Same day. Tough.
Jin dynasty. Having ruled as emperor for less than a day, or maybe even just a few hours, he holds the record for being the shortest reigning monarch in Chinese history. Born on the 21st of March, 1887, Dom Luiz Felipe was the son of King Carlos I, who ascended the Portuguese throne in 1889. Unfortunately for King Carlos, his reign was plagued by political instability and the rise of anti-monarchist movements. As the crown prince of Portugal and eldest son of the king, Luiz Felipe had been groomed his entire life to inherit the throne. He was highly educated, spoke several languages, carried himself with elegance and seriousness, and, truth be told, he was quite handsome. At the age of 20, Luiz Felipe made an unprecedented royal tour to Portugal's African colonies, the first time a crown prince had ever done such a thing. The trip earned him admiration from the nobility, the military, and even the press, who dubbed him the Prince of Action. In other words, if there was ever a perfect candidate for the throne, this guy was it. But, you know what always happens in European history when a crown prince seems just a little too perfect? Exactly. Tragedy, blood, and an abrupt ending. On the 1st of February, 1908, and his family were returning to Lisbon from the Palace of Vila Viçosa. Despite the dangerous political climate tearing through the country, the king, in a moment of poor judgment, chose not to bring any military escort. In fact, there was only a very small guard detail following behind. Enter Alfredo Luiz da Costa and Manuel Buicha, two members of a revolutionary group, Carbonaria. Okay, I'll shoot the king. No, I'll shoot the king. I'm serious. It's my job. Nope, step aside. I got this. As the royal carriage slowly moved through the square, the two assassins approached without resistance, thanks to the near-total lack of military escort. Buicha fired into the neck and face of King Carlos I, killing him instantly. Alfredo Costa shot Crown Prince Luiz Felipe, hitting him in the chest and shoulder. Though wounded, Luiz Felipe drew his pistol and fired back, reportedly hitting at least one of the attackers before collapsing a few minutes later. Prince Manuel, just 15 years old, was also wounded in the arm, but survived. Queen Amélie, uninjured, tried desperately to fight back, striking one of the assassins with her flower bouquet. And in that brief moment, with his father already dead and his own life slipping away, Luiz Felipe silently ascended the throne. There was no announcement, no coronation, but by the rules of succession, he was the lawful king of Portugal. And just a few minutes later, he died from massive blood loss. His younger brother, Manuel II, became the next king and the last. Some historians refer to Luiz Felipe as Luiz II, the shortest reigning monarch in Portuguese history. But in reality, he died just minutes after his father was assassinated, and before his kingship could be formally declared by Parliament. So, was he really a king? That question remains a subject of debate to this day. People remember Carlos I as the king who was assassinated. They remember Manuel II as the king who ended the monarchy. And
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he counts. Reason why is, yes, lineage wise and like how it goes, one king dies, the youngest son or the eldest son. The eldest son's next, but I think that part of it as well is actually being like formally crowned, it written in writing, you sign, like, you know, don't have to be no big coronation, but at least everyone is aware now, like, yo, this the new king. I think so. I don't think we can give Luis, I don't think we can give him that title. I'm sorry, Luis, I know you were a real one, bro. You rolled out, still wounded, bro. Still shot back, still wounded, bro. Seen his father just got hit, man. Oh. I said, yeah, I'm taking one of you down with me. It's a man like Luis, but I'm sorry, G. Can't give you that title. We just can't. We can't. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Man light though. Man light. Would have been a great king. Would have been a great king. I can already tell. Would have been a great king.
Luiz Felipe? People hardly remember him at all. Even though he might have been a wise, strong, and truly capable ruler if fate had given him just one more day. Michael II, full name Mikhail Alexandrovich Romanov, was born on the 4th of December, 1878. He was the youngest son and fifth child of Emperor Alexander III of Russia and the youngest brother of Nicholas II. Michael was born during the reign of his grandfather, Alexander II. At that time, he was fourth in line to the throne, after his father and two elder brothers, Nicholas and George. After his grandfather was assassinated in 1881...
It's over with, bro. If I got like 2-3 brothers in front of me, I know I'm never seeing the throne. I might as well accept my fate as prince. Do some other shit. Build my own country. Fuck it. Bro.
Michael moved up to third in line. When his father died in 1894, he became second. And in 1899, after the death of his brother George, Michael became the sole legal heir to Nicholas II. The birth of Nicholas' son, Alexei, in 1904 put...
Yo, I spoke way too soon. I spoke way too soon. Fair enough, bro. Ignore me, Michael. Shit.
Michael back to second in the line of succession, but Alexei suffered from severe hemophilia, a condition that made it unlikely he would survive to adulthood. And so, Michael was once again seen as a potential heir to the throne. The problem? Michael was not exactly the kind of Romanov the aristocracy liked. He married a divorced noblewoman, which made the Russian court nearly faint with shock. It was considered utterly unacceptable. He was banished from Russia for a time, and practically erased from the royal family's social calendar. And he had no love for politics, nor any burning ambition for power. What did he enjoy? Horseback riding, music, and living a quiet life. All in all, a perfectly fine man, just not the ideal choice to run a crumbling empire. On the 15th of March, 1917, as Russia was drowning in the chaos of World War I and the February Revolution, Tsar Nicholas II was forced to abdicate. At first, he intended to pass the throne to his son, Alexei. But due to the boy's fragile health and his severe hemophilia, Nicholas changed his mind and passed the crown directly to his brother, Michael. Nicholas II declared, "We have judged it right to abdicate the throne of the Russian state and to lay down the supreme power. Not wishing to be parted from our beloved son, we hand over our succession to our brother the Grand Duke, Michael Alexandrovich, and bless him on his accession to the throne." On the 16th of March, 1917, Michael officially received the throne from Nicholas II, becoming Michael II of Russia. The very next day, the 17th of March, Michael issued a historic declaration. He neither accepted nor rejected the throne. Instead, he stated that he would abide by the will of the Russian Provisional Government. As a result, Michael II reigned for less than a day, though some argue that, technically, he never actually took the throne. By declining the crown, Michael II became the last Tsar in name, marking the end of 300 years of Romanov rule. Russia then became a republic, soon fell into the hands of the Bolsheviks, and the path to the Soviet Union was set. Michael was placed under arrest.
So bro just gave up the country. Bro just said, yeah, y'all know that I don't want this shit. Like, ugh. Yeah, fair enough.
And lived in obscurity, constantly watched by the young Soviet regime. In 1918, he was secretly executed in Perm by Bolshevik forces, even before Nicholas II and his family were killed. He died in silence, no grave, no mourning. Just a few lines in the history books. History is full of short reigns, but your support can go a long way. Like?
Nah, good video though, good video. W video though, that was actually interesting. I say because I know Louise wanted that. We all know Louise wanted that, bro. Louise Felipe went out sad. But now that being said, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Videos dropping every single day, 5:15 UK time, so make sure you pull up. I want to see you here tomorrow. Peace, love, and prosperity. Okay, I had to click it.